Hi everyone, apologies for the slight delay to the start though, just had a few technical issues to resolve. Good evening and thank you for taking the time to join us tonight to talk about the Otley Shared Transport Hub proposals. I'm Rebecca Fairbairn. I work for the Consultation and Engagement team at West Yorkshire Combined Authority. We've also got Kate Gifford here tonight, who is the Head of Future Mobility at the Combined Authority. Gwyn Owen and Nathan Coy, who work in transport policy at Leeds City Council, and along with Kate, will hopefully be able to answer any questions you might have following the presentation. I'll hand over to Kate shortly to talk you through the presentation she's prepared and give you a bit more details about the scheme. There's just a couple of things I need to run through. First, if you could just move on the presentation, please, Kate. So yeah, just a couple of things just to explain what's going to happen tonight. So as I say, we'll have a presentation and then there'll be a bit of time for Q&A. Please submit your question via the Q&A function. Only the panelists will be able to see your questions and we'll ensure these are covered. If we do run out of time tonight, we will answer any questions via the Your Voice Q&A function on the web page, or with your permission, we can email you directly using the email that you've registered for this webinar with. Also, as you'll see on the screen, there is another email address you can use if you have any questions afterwards, yourvoice@westyorks-ca.gov.uk. If you need any assistance to take part in the consultation, please contact us using that email address. Just need to let you know as well that the webinar is being recorded and will be made available online. If we experience any technical issues that we can't resolve, we'll upload any outstanding questions to the Q&A section of the Your Voice webpage. And just a reminder before we start really sort of the purpose of this consultation and this webinar. So the current consultation is very early stages, just seeking views on potential proposed locations for a shared transport hub in Otley and what facilities that you would or wouldn't like to see there. And this feedback will help us shape more detailed proposals for the future. So I will hand over to Kate now, who can talk you through in a bit more detail. Thanks, Kate.
Thanks very much, Rebecca. So I'm going to go through some slides that we've got on the Otley Shared Transport Hub. And as Rebecca mentioned, please feel free to ask questions using the Q&A function in the chat. To give you a bit of background to the proposals for Otley, I first wanted to talk a bit about what a shared transport hub is, and then we'll move on to what we're proposing in Otley. So the idea of a shared transport hub is really to enable people to make shorter journeys by more sustainable modes of transport. So that's particularly focusing on walking and cycling and improving and enabling people to make those shorter journeys by walking and cycling. It can also look at co-locating transport and community facilities, and this might be things like at an existing library or community facility. It might be improving transport facilities, and in a lot of places we're building on existing transport provision that's already there. In terms of what we'd like to see, bus and passenger information is very much at the centre of the plans for hubs that we've got across West Yorkshire, and we'll talk a bit about how that will play out in Otley in a second. I just wanted to talk through a couple of examples that I've got in terms of the images on the slide here. The top left-hand image is in West Midlands, where they've got some pilot shared transport hubs in place. And this is looking at, they've got bikes, they've got e-scooters, and they've also got better provision of waiting facilities for people for bus and rail services. The picture at the bottom is from Redbridge in London, and that's more of a mini hub that's located outside some shops. And they have developed that with the local businesses particularly, and that includes mainly better bike parking and facilities for people to wait and also to use the cafe facilities and sit outside and have their coffees. This image on the right is a very much smaller scale hub that Transport for Greater Manchester have put in, and that's literally some additional bike parking and a seat for people to wait. So that's at the very much the kind of smaller scale end of the hubs that we're looking at. I'll just go on to talk a bit about the plans for West Yorkshire. So the funding that we're using for these shared transport hubs is from the Department for Transport. So it's government funding that is specifically ring-fenced for use on transport schemes. And we have had this funding as a result of becoming a mayoral combined authority a couple of years ago. We're spending this money on a number of things, including mass transit feasibility studies, and including looking at improving integration across the modes. And as part of that, we're looking at putting pilot shared transport hubs in a number of locations across West Yorkshire. The first phase of hubs that we're looking at is 5 pilot hubs. So 4 of those are in Calderdale, and then the one that we're looking at in Otley at the moment. And then we've got a list of further hubs that we're looking at across a wider range of locations in West Yorkshire. I'll just move on to the next slide, and this just summarises some of the locations that we're looking at for potential shared transport hubs. We have done quite a lot of work to look at things like population density, access to employment, and other things that might influence the locations of these hubs. And as a result of that analysis, Otley is one of the locations where we felt there was potential to improve the transport linkages. So as I've mentioned, Otley has strong potential for a shared transport hub, and the sort of facilities that could be provided at this location. We're not saying that all of these will be provided. We're still at the stage of examining the options and asking members of the public what they would like to see. So things like building on the existing car club bay. We could see an electric vehicle being put in as part of that. More secure cycle storage, and we've already had comments that some people are using e-cargo bikes and would like somewhere to be able to leave those whilst they do their shopping or whilst they visit Otley. In the future, we might be able to provide electric bike hire, similar to the scheme which is already in operation in the city centre in Leeds, and improving transport information and local maps, which would be building on the existing provision that's already at particularly the North Parade car park. We also want to improve the links between the site that we're looking at in North Parade car park or any other site that we provide these facilities at, and the bus station in Otley. So at the moment, there is 2 potential locations that we have identified, but we are also interested in hearing people's opinions about other locations that we should be looking at. So we have identified Courthouse Street car park and North Parade car park as locations that might have potential, both in terms of having space available, i.e. they're not completely fully utilised in terms of the car parking spaces at all times. And we're just in the process of conducting car parking surveys as well to clarify that that is the case and that there is spare capacity in those car parks. But we are interested in understanding your views on other locations in Otley where you think we should be looking in terms of being able to provide that provision. And just to really summarise, we're only talking about potentially using sort of up to 2 or 3 car parking spaces. It's not a large scale development, this, and we're not really proposing developing a building or any sort of structure. It's just putting in particularly cycle facilities, potentially EV charging points. So fairly small scale, I think, was the point that I wanted to get across. So just to talk a bit about the next steps with the project, we've got a survey that's currently out for people to respond to, and we will do some initial results of what we get back in terms of the survey in early February. Then we've got a meeting to present those results back to Otley Town Council and other local stakeholders in February. And then from the end of February onwards, we will look to develop the proposals further and to put together some outline plans. And then what we would like to do is come back and talk again to local people about the proposals that we've put together. And that will probably be in about May time. And And we will also at the same time be talking to Otley Town Council and other local stakeholders such as the BID, which is the Business Improvement District, which is the group of local retailers and other local businesses. So that's the sort of work plan that we've got over the next few months. I think your input and your views are really vital to this, though, in terms of shaping the project and in terms of really understanding what local people want to see. Rebecca, did you want to come back in and talk through how people can get involved?
Yeah, I'll just run through this. We haven't had any questions so far. Obviously, if there is anything you'd like to take this opportunity to ask, please do so. Or it's something, if we can't get an answer now, we can take it away and get one for you. So just to reiterate, the consultation is open now until the end of the day on Sunday, 4th February. So there's just under 2 weeks left to respond. You can get involved by sharing information about the consultation and the survey with friends, family, organisations or groups you're a part of that might be interested. Obviously by taking the survey yourself as well, which is online, or for those, or if you know anyone that maybe doesn't use the internet, we do have paper copies available at Otley Community Hub and Library as well, and they can be returned to us via free post. On our Your Voice page online, you can also sign up to receive updates. So when we start going through those next steps that Kate just talked about, you will hear about those directly. And obviously, yeah, sorry, as I said, I jumped ahead there. You can obviously complete the survey yourselves. There's just some information on the other side of the slide there, with the email address again, yourvoice@westyorkca.gov.uk. We've also got a phone number you can use, and then there's the web address there as well. We've just had a question come in. So you mentioned a car club bay. Did you mean there is an existing one in Otley? I wasn't aware.
There is an existing car club bay in North Parade car park. I guess it's gone in relatively recently, within the last 6 months. We certainly have aspirations in the future to make an electric charging point available at that location so that eventually it could become an electric car club vehicle that's provided. It might just be useful to say that's an enterprise car club vehicle, so you can book it through their website.
Okay, we've had another question, or it might be a comment. I think there might be other alternative locations dependent on how much space this needs. A location closer to the bus station would be more preferable. There are some old garages behind the library and around the corner from the bus station, which would be a good one to investigate. I'm not sure if that's something we've already looked at, Kate, or if we can certainly add it to the list to look into.
I don't know whether, Gwyn, you want to come in on that.
Yeah, I'm sure there are other locations, and the bus station itself is owned by First Group, so we don't have free rein at the bus station either. But I'm sure the garages would be nearer. But all the both the car parks we have in the consultation and all the 6 council car parks in Otley, I think, are obviously we own the land. And from a planning point of view, that they are okay for transport. So, you know, the funding across West Yorkshire is quite sounds quite a lot, but we're not in a position where we can buy or lease properties. So, you know, so it's just what's possible. It's a good point. You know, we could. In an ideal world, we might get something nearer, but you know, we are trying to develop a solution on council land.
Yeah, I've just had a response to say I'm an OTC councillor and happy to help with this. So thank you. We'll take that away. We've had another comment or question. Sorry, did you consider Charles Street car park?
I thought, do I need to click enter live or is that?
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, I think we started with North Parade car park. because that's where the existing there's an electric charging bay for the public and one for private hire, and there's also
there's a car club bay there, yeah.
And now there's a car club bay there, and there's some cycle provision, some in a hangar and some against the wall. And the council also owns behind the gate there, although there are other uses it may be put to. So we started with North Parade, and also because we understand there may be electrical issues at North Parade, we've included Courthouse. I suppose, because we've consulted on the first two, we would, at the moment, we'd like people's views on that. Obviously, if everybody is talking, for instance, if everybody is talking about Charles Street, we'd have a look at it, after the consultation. Not everybody, you see what I mean? If there's seems to be some strong feeling towards it, and if there's a strong will for electric bikes and cars, then we'd have to see. It might look really good above on the surface, but underneath it may be prohibitively expensive to get the electricity there.
Rebecca, you're on mute.
My apologies. Sorry, it's that time of day.
Okay.
So a Otley Town Councillor has come back to say my suggested location is next to this. So I'm just conscious that members of the public obviously can't see the question. So just so everyone knows what's been said. So it's next to the Charles Street car park. And then has gone on to say, no one at Otley Town Council seems to be aware of the discussion around suggested locations and shortlisting of these.
Sorry, that one says done. I don't think we've done that one, have we? I think the evolution was, as we described, North Parade has always been a part of it. And as we've grown concerned about the electricity connection, as I tried to explain, we've gone to Courthouse, which I think you might consider it is more central. Again, Walker, I understand that the consultation on Friday morning, Walker Gate was mentioned, and it's obviously been mentioned here as well. We'll speak to the town council immediately after the consultation closes, and move on from there.
Okay, thank you. And then with reference back to the question around, did you consider Charles Street car park? The participant has just added, okay, I asked because it's closer to the bus station / visible from the bus station, which I think, yeah, we appreciate. Is there anything further to say on that one? I think we've answered that, haven't we?
Yeah, it's also Charles Street is Walker Gate. I think that's right.
Yeah, I was just trying to work out which one it was.
Yeah. Sorry, I mean, it's I understand it was mentioned a number of times on Friday morning.
Yeah,
and we'll certainly have a look at it.
So we haven't got any further questions at the moment. Thank you for those questions and those comments. Yes, corner of Walkergate, Charles Street.
Yeah,
that's great. Thank you. So yeah, I was just going to, you just mentioned, or when you were just referring to the drop-in event we had on Friday. So just a reminder that if you do go away and think of any further questions, or someone you know might want to come and speak to a member of the team in person, we will be back at Otley Marketplace during the Farmers Market on Sunday between 10 and 1. So please do join us there. You'd be very welcome. Oh, another question, sorry. Who will pay for maintenance longer term?
think it depends what facilities are put in. We've got some money for sort of ongoing maintenance, and then we would have a discussion with Leeds City Council about who will have responsibility for the maintenance of the assets that are put in, I think, Gwyn.
Yeah, there'd be separate solutions, I think, for the equipment, shall we say, and for the surface, I suppose.
Okay.
I think somebody new's just joined the chat.
Oh yeah, I think. No, I'm not sure. We don't have any further questions at the moment. Oh no, here we go. Could the hub include digital display of bus routes, connections and timetables?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
That's something that we would see as a fundamental part of any hub that we put in. So yeah, making that connection much easier between the hub and the bus station in terms of people being able to understand, live departures, for example, from the bus station. That would definitely be something you want to look at.
Great, thank you. I will just should we just give a minute or two for any further questions?
Yeah, I'm conscious the attendees are having to type on and we're only having to speak. So we'll. Yes,
that's true. So we've done a reminder about the drop-in event for anyone. Obviously, survey closes on the 4th of February. As I said at the beginning, we have been recording this, and that will be posted on the Your Voice page. Hopefully tomorrow, but definitely by Thursday, if you do want to rewatch any of it. How many attendees are there? We've been asked. Well, we actually had quite a few registered, and not as many as registered turned up, unfortunately. So we've had 4 people on tonight.
But I think we got a far better response on Friday morning, and hopefully at the farmers'
we had a lot of interest on Friday, actually.
Yeah,
Sunday,
we did, and
Sunday, yes.
I think it's for us. It's about, so from a consultation engagement team point of view, this is about offering obviously opportunities in different ways. So some people prefer to come and see us in person. Some people prefer to do a webinar. I think it's probably fair to say that's not actually a bad turnout for a webinar. Sometimes we don't, get a particular interest in joining these. So, and it's good, obviously. I feel the attendees we have been very engaged and asking lots of questions. So thank you for that. That's always good to see. Or it may be that people, knowing it's recorded, think, oh, I'll just, I'll watch it at a more convenient time. And obviously is why we post it online as well. So it can be all sorts of reasons.
Rebecca, I don't know whether you want to say anything about how we'll keep people up to date after the survey's closed.
Once it's closed. So for anyone that took the survey online, there was an option at the end, or even on the paper survey, actually, I do apologise. So on both, there was an option to say if you'd like to be kept informed via post or email. So when the responses are analysed, we will produce a consultation outcome report, which is quite a lengthy document because obviously it's intended to be used by Kate's team and Gwyn's team sort of making further decisions, but there is a shorter summary that we do, although you're obviously welcome to read the whole thing if you would like. So we'll publish that online and we'll let you know directly if you have signed up to hear more information. And there's also a way to sign up if you didn't select that on the survey. If you've already done it, there is a way to sign up on the Your Voice page separately as well. Just another question, is it possible to get a copy of my survey response sent the other email to me? Is it possible? Sent the other day, emailed to me. You should, if you did it, did you do it online? Sorry, if you did it online, you should have been emailed a copy. But if you did it anonymously, you might not have received one. I'm not sure. Yes, but no. Oh, okay, that's true. We normally, normally it's emailed. I'm sure we will, if you put your name on it or an email address or something to identify you, we should be able to find that. With your permission, I can look through our responses and get that to you.
Is it best if the respondent contacts the email that, I don't know whether you can put it back up, Rebecca,
I can't, sorry, I don't have it handy to share. I've related to my technical issues, unfortunately, but it was your voice at, I don't know if I can type it in. Let me just type it as an answer to you.
Okay. Yeah, it's your voice at westyorks-ca.gov.uk. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. If there's no further questions, shall we leave it there and let everyone get on with their evenings? And just to say thank you again for attending and for your time this evening. I hope it was useful. And if you do have any further questions following this, please do use that email address, send them via the Your Voice function. We'd love to hear from you. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for.
All right. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.